Hey guys, it's Jessie. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my 2024 Goodreads Choice Awards reading vlog. I hope we're all very excited. I know it's a long one. I know it's long. I know it's potentially one of the longest videos I've ever done on my channel, but I'm going to try and keep this brief. But in today's video, I'm going to be reading all 20 of the 2024 Goodreads Choice Awards nominees for the mystery thriller category. I love mystery thriller books. They are probably my favourite genre, and I've been really excited for this video all year. It was definitely a bit of a challenge. I didn't quite read all of them within the time frame, but I have now read them all, so I'm really excited to share this video with you guys. So yeah, without further ado, I think let's just get straight into it, and we'll start with me reacting to the 20 nominees. I'm literally so excited I could scream. I can't wait. So I have not looked, I have not seen anything. I do not know what's going to come up. I did catch a tiny glimpse of one when it was like nominees on your shelf, and it was one I predicted, so I'm not trying to flex, but I am very excited. It is like 9 o'clock now. I was up at 7. They came out like 2 AM my time. I had a work meeting at 8, so I had to get all ready for that, and then that has literally just finished, and I have speed gotten ready, like maybe the fastest ever, and I'm genuinely way too excited for like what this actually is. Like, I cannot wait to see what I'm going to be reading. So I am going to screen record my screen now, and I've basically zoomed in so that I can only see the top row, and I am looking just on a random category. So I'm going to shut my eyes and I'm going to click on mystery thriller. Let's zoom in. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, so first things first, we've got God of the Woods, which I predicted. It's on my TBR for this month. I'm very excited about that. Home is Where the Bodies Are. I also predicted that in my top 10. Society of Lies, I have never heard of in my life. 9,000 ratings. Yeah, this would have not been in my predictions whatsoever. Okay, we'll have a look at that in a second. First Slay Wins. Slay, 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 slay. That was also on my predictions. So we're 3 for 4 so far. I have 2 of these on my Kindle and 1 of them physically, so that's good. Let's move it down 1. Okay, How to Solve Your Own Murder I put on like literally last minute on my list, and I was so excited that this one is on here. I'm so excited for this. I did have plans to read it earlier in the year, but I actually put that off because I thought it might be in this video, and I'm very excited about that one. All the Colours of the Dark I did expect and predict. I believe that's a long one and a bit historical though. The Night We Lost Him is very interesting. I did not think that this would be on here at all because it's only got like 21,000. I think I had even less before, so that's interesting. So immediately 2 of my predictions are incorrect. I'm really interested to see what has been excluded, I guess. And The Teacher by Freida McFadden. I did predict 3 Freidas, so we will see. Next up, we've got The Boyfriend. Again, I did also predict that. Darling Girls, I predicted. House of Glass, I did not predict at all. This had, yeah, only 29,000. So I'm very interested to see. That's 3 now that I've got incorrect. And Listen for the Light was the one that I did see on my shelves, so that was in my top 10 too. Then again, okay, Jason Rekulak. I am very excited to read this. I didn't know this had come out. His last book was Hidden Pictures, which I did enjoy. I gave it like a 4, and that was a horror, so I wouldn't have predicted that, but that is one that I'm interested in. We Saw Murders is here. Good. I love Richard Osman, so I'm very excited that that one is here. Midnight Feast, I'm not surprised about. I predicted that, and I predicted The Return of Ellie Black. And then here, oh my god, okay, we have The Heiress, which I did predict. Not What She Seems, which I've literally never seen in my life. How many ratings does that have? 11,000. Yeah, another kind of minor one. Mystery Guest by Nita Prose I predicted, and Middle of the Night. Okay, so that is our top 20. What have we not got that I predicted? The Housemaid is Watching isn't on there. Oh my god, I am so pleased about that. Excellent stuff. So the ones that I predicted incorrectly. So yeah, I predicted that The Housemaid is Watching would win. So that is literally not even a nominee. I'm so sorry. I really don't like that series. I'm open to trying other Freida McFaddens, but I just do not enjoy the Housemaid series. I've not really enjoyed anything else I've read from her, but like I'm more open to trying it than a series I know I don't particularly enjoy. This is crazy. Okay, so we don't have The Housemaid is Watching, we don't have Night Watching, we don't have Here One Moment, we don't have Kate Alice Marshall, and we don't have One Perfect Couple. So besides that, I'm not trying to get cocky, but I did absolutely amazingly. I said I wanted to get 15 and I did in my prediction, so I'm very, very pleased about that. That's the Goodreads Choice Awards. I need to start ordering some of these mystery books and get to work. I'm not going to vote now because the only one I've read here is Richard Osman, and that wouldn't be fair. I guess I will catch up with you when we pick up the first book. We're here, we are starting our reading for this video. I'm so excited because it's been a couple of days. I did have to finish up a couple of other books for a different video, and now that that's all done, I can fully direct my time to this video and I am so excited. I have managed to acquire all the books either via Kindle, physical, or from my library, or audiobooks, so I think we should be okay. I'll grab the ones out physically. So these are the ones that I like physically own myself. I've got 3 that I'm waiting to come in from the library, and then I also picked up this one from the library as well, so I think that's enough. Like, I like to hold up all the books, but I was like, I'm not about to spend that much money, and certain ones aren't even like available in the UK, like Home is Where the Bodies Are, Society for Lies, and like Not What She Seems. Like, you can't even get some of them in the UK. And the disappearance of Ellie Black, or the return of Ellie Black, that one, sorry, I'm out of breath, I just like walked up the stairs. That one's like under a completely different name in the UK. Anyway, these are the ones that I own physically, but that's not what we're starting with. Actually, I decided to start off with The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose. This one pretty much just because I have the audio and I wanted to kind of play some Cozy Grove Witch, do some of my colouring, and I kind of had like mid thoughts on the first one, and I think this will be in the top 10, so I thought this was kind of like a good place to start. It's also reasonably short. I thought it'd be like a fine place to start. I didn't want to start with one that I predict to win, and I don't want to start with one that like nobody's heard of, but I thought this would be a fun one. I also much prefer the UK cover. Sorry, it's like in the library, like out a bit, so you can't see it too well, but I much prefer this kind of version of the cover. I read the first one in this series back when I was doing the 2022 nominees. I filmed that like after the fact. I did that as a separate video, and I think I gave it like a 3, maybe like a 3.5. Thought it was okay. I didn't really remember all too much about it, to be honest. Being now halfway through or so, I am kind of like remembering it. I think I prefer the sequel actually more to the first one. I don't really know why. I just finding maybe the narrator a bit more likable. I am enjoying listening to it on audiobook because I feel like the kind of main character, it's not like direct to reader, but like she does make some kind of like asides. It's told like very much from her perspective, like she's got a strong narrative voice, if that makes sense. Like, it's very much her almost kind of relaying this to you, but like not in a way that like she's necessarily like breaking the fourth wall, if that makes sense. So I'm enjoying that, and I'm enjoying the character. I'm finding her quite fun, and she's very entertaining to be in the perspective of. She's a very sweet girl, pretty much. My issues with this are kind of similar to my issues previously. Firstly, the police in this like absolutely hate her for no reason, and I feel like that was the same in the first book. I feel like there's no reason for that. She's like a very timid, like she's very much like neurodivergent coded. It's not been explicitly stated, but like it's very much kind of like she has trouble with social cues, she has trouble reading expressions, like stuff like that. She thinks about things very literally and doesn't really understand like sarcasm, stuff like that. It's not been explicitly said, but I do think that is like a significant aspect of her character, and I think I said this in the first one, it seems unrealistic to me that like the police wouldn't understand that or be like kind of somewhat sympathetic, like they see it as suspicious, which I think is so bizarre. There's a couple of bits like in the previous timeline, because we do have a couple of flashbacks, and I'm not really kind of like seeing certain actions as kind of like make sense for the character. But I realise I haven't actually told you the storyline. We are following Molly the maid. We're following Molly the maid, and she is still working at the hotel, and basically 5 years or so, 4 years after the events of the first book, there is an author that's coming to like reveal something and do like a speech or something like that, an author event, and he's like a really popular kind of crime writer, and he like drops down dead like when he's doing this speech, and she's kind of like, they're somewhat suspicious of her because like he drank tea that like she like prepared, I guess, and then a couple of the other maids and stuff they're suspicious of, like they're suspicious of people in the hotel, and she's got a little bit of a history with the author, which is what we're flashing back to kind of in her childhood. So I mean, it's reasonably interesting. It's nothing crazy, it's kind of just like a classic, I guess, cozy-ish mystery. I'm definitely enjoying it more than the first one, but like not loving it. It's sitting in the middle of a 3-star kind of at the moment. I think this is gonna sit when all the awards are done. I think this will maybe be like a 7th place or so. I think it should get into the top 10. I would expect so, considering that it won previously. However, I don't think it's going to be out like Frida or maybe Richard Osman or like Lucy Foley, Riley Sager, stuff like that, just because this one hasn't really got anywhere near the same amount of hype. But yeah, it's an enjoyable one to start off with, and I'm excited to carry on with it. Also, I have made a little jar. I thought it'd be fun. I was very much inspired by Kayla from Books and Lala, who's doing her Goodreads video, kind of picking random prompts kind of, and I thought it'd be fun to put all of the nominees in a jar here, and then I'll pick them out, and that is how I will choose them, or I'll find different ways to choose them, etc, etc. I thought it'd be quite fun, so I'll be doing that later on. I just kind of decided to start with this one because I wanted to, and I might pick up another one on my Kindle, but mainly I'm going to be trying to like pick out of here to choose what we read, and I thought that'd be a fun kind of different way to do it. So yeah, I will catch up with you probably when I finished off our first book. I'm so excited to be filming this. Hey guys, so I do have kind of a double update to share. First things first, I finished off The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose, and I enjoyed this one. I thought it was okay. I thought it was kind of fine, to be honest. Like, I didn't find anything about it particularly like crazy interesting or unique. I do enjoy following these characters, and I did enjoy it more than the first, but like not overwhelmingly. I think I gave the first like a 3.75 when I first rated it. I've dropped that down to like a 3, and I'd give this a 3.25. I think this is kind of the type of cozy mystery where I'm not necessarily super invested. I just don't feel particularly attached to the characters for some reason, and it just doesn't really stick with me. I definitely think Molly is an interesting character to follow, and we've got some interesting characters within here, but we did have some kind of like personal revelations and stuff, and I just didn't feel particularly like moved by them or particularly interested either. So 3.25 maybe not the best kind of way to start off this video, but I am still pleased that I read it, and I did overall like enjoy it, and I think if you like the first you would obviously like this one too. And then I have since finished the entirety of Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. I think this video is going to be super long, so I do not mind not giving halfway updates necessarily, but this one is really interesting. We're basically following these 3 children of this family, and their parents have just died, and they're kind of trying to sort through all the stuff in the house, and then they basically find a videotape that potentially incriminates their parents and brings some questions into things that may have happened in the past, and potentially criminal things that they then want to kind of investigate pretty much. So it's really interesting, and I really liked the kind of like vibes of having this old videotape. I thought this was really interesting actually. I didn't see the twistiness necessarily coming. I think it is one that could be predicted if you were trying to predict it. I saw a few reviews that were like, oh, it's really predictable, but I don't think that's something that necessarily bothers me in thrillers. I think if it's twisty turny and then like before the reveal I can kind of guess it, that doesn't really bother me. I don't think a book has to be absolutely jaw-dropping shocking for me to enjoy it. However, I do think that like obviously I don't want something to just be like super obvious and like the first kind of person that the main character suspects ends up being the perpetrator, and there's no investigation or like red herrings or anything like that. But this one I didn't find like super predictable, but again, like I said, like it's a reasonably small cast of characters, so it's kind of got that, well, you know, it's gonna be one of them type of situation. But I really enjoyed this. I liked the characters. I found the kind of interpersonal dynamics with all of the siblings very interesting, and I definitely think it got pretty tense towards the end, which was very enjoyable. So I decided to give this one a 4-star. This is kind of just like a classic enjoyable thriller for me, and I had a good time with it. So reasonably positive vibes. This is, I guess, my favourite out of the video so far. I guess depends if we're counting We Solve Murders, because obviously that was a 5-star and I've read that previously. But yeah, I will catch up with you when we have another update. I'm like, how far through the teacher? Sorry. I feel like listening to Freedom McFadden on audiobook is ridiculous. I'm like 35% of the way through, and the way she like drops the most insane and like random twist, I'm like, okay, that's where we're going with the story, fine. But I feel like it's very entertaining, but like just because something's shocking doesn't make it a good plot point. But I'm interested to see where it goes. Some questionable themes, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, it was just such a like end of a chapter, massive twist, not even twist though, massive reveal, and then moving on to the next chapter. Very weird. Very weird. Not my favourite, but entertaining at least. Hello. So I decided earlier today to pick out an audiobook, and I decided to pick it out randomly from my jar. I did end up picking out The Teacher by Freedom McFadden. That was actually yesterday, and now I'm a little bit further through it. It is now Monday the 18th, so we are making some good progress, I think, and I'm just over halfway through The Teacher. No, it's not good. I am not enjoying it. It's actually really gross. Actually, it's gross. It's not fun, and also I feel like there isn't a mystery. I am not intrigued. Like, we kind of keep alluding to things, like I feel like Freedom McFadden does like the last like line before the end of the chapter, kind of like a dramatic reveal, and it would be like, but she didn't even know what was gonna happen this time tomorrow, or like, and that would be the last time she would ever speak to him type of thing. They're not examples from the book, but it's like that type of kind of trying to keep you reading type of vibe. And it's definitely readable. I have it as an audiobook. I think if I didn't have it as an audiobook I wouldn't read it, and I think I would DNF it because I don't care. But I have heard bad things about this one. Like I've kind of only heard, it's got a very high rating, but I've only heard like reasonably mid to negative reviews, even coming from like people that love The Boyfriend and stuff like that. She is just not for me. Like it's just not the type of book I enjoy like whatsoever, but like I'm at least interested to see where we're gonna go from here, because I know she's kind of renowned for having like a plot twist, so it's almost like, you know, it's like a car crash and you can't look away. That's kind of how I feel. And it's crazy because she's so popular, like so many people love her and I just don't get it for some reason. Like I am just not there. It's just like not my taste of mystery, which is fine. And I know she's got so many people like into thrillers, into mysteries, which is so fun. But yeah, just not for me right now. But I do want to give you an update. I should finish it today. I've been playing my Cozy Grove, doing my little iPad games, and also going to be doing some colouring in. So hopefully I should get through it. And it's fine. It's definitely like reasonably bingeable. It's not like super dull. So, you know, I'm just trying to find positive things. Anyway, I'm halfway through it. I will talk to you when I have finished it off entirely. I'm being so genuine when I say that might be the worst book I've ever read in my life. Okay, so I gave it a 1. Yeah, so we've got some really weird messaging there about student-teacher relationships. We've got the weirdest epilogue and attempt at some big twist I've ever experienced. We've got the most ridiculous ability to survive murder attempts, written by a doctor, which is troubling. We've got an inherent lack of ability to like fit things into the time we say things have been. Like we say something takes a certain amount of time and then we do it a certain amount of time and then we say that it is currently the time that would have been way quicker than that thing would have taken. I'm trying to not give spoilers. I hate it. It's awful, and if this wins I may just like never read a book again. Seriously, like I cannot emphasize to you guys, I hated it. And it got boring. Sorry, it got boring. And the thing is, like Freida McFadden, it's not my cup of tea, but they're like popcorn thrillers. They're meant to be like entertaining at the very least. They're meant to be like twisty, turny. It got dull. Everything that happened, besides that really weird epilogue twist, I saw coming. And as I literally just talked about, I don't normally predict thrillers. I don't try to predict thrillers, but like anything that could happen, like the first thing you could think of happened. Nothing was a surprise. It's like she read My Dark Vanessa and was like, let's make this bad. Let's like do this book that was like excellent, I loved, and let's just like make it bad and like label it a mystery but have no mystery. There was no mystery, there was no thriller element, there was like violence and like assault, but that's it. There was no mystery, we weren't discovering anything, there was no thrilling aspects because I wasn't thrilled, and sorry and also the amount of just like, oh yeah, well we'll move on then, from so many characters. The like ridiculous inner monologue of one of our main characters, and I mean the other one was also just ridiculous, and like, and also it wouldn't have made sense because there's certain characters that are implied that they don't know each other, but they definitely would have seen each other because they're at the same school for like 6-7 hours a day. Like, how are you telling me they don't know each other, or they do know each other and like just don't address it the whole time? It's very weird. No, because they definitely don't, because one character doesn't know things about another character that they would have to know if they knew them in that context. But like they're at school together all the time, so how do they not know each other? I can't. I think you're a neurosurgeon writing about injuries that are most definitely not survivable, but it's fine. Anyway, I feel like I got a little bit I actually feel like I got a little bit angry there. Anyway, I have started my next book, Listen to the Lie. Such like a not 360, that's just a circle, such a 180. I'm loving this, and this has 5-star potential, so don't tell me that I'm not multifaceted as a person. I am currently 48% through. Can you see? I feel like you believe me. I'm loving this so far. This is so good. I'm really hooked in. I'm loving the characters. I'm getting the vibes of like a classic like subplot romance that you do get in these thrillers, and normally I'm a bit rolling my eyes, but like I kind of love it here. And we are basically following Lucy, who is basically the main suspect in her best friend's murder of 5 years previously. Her best friend was found obviously murdered, and she was found like walking around with her blood on her, but like with massive like injuries as well. But they ended up thinking that it was her for reasons we don't need to get into, but they're like, basically everyone thinks it's her, but like the police didn't have enough evidence, and she can't remember anything because of these head injuries, so she doesn't know. And then this podcaster comes to town, and we get segments of the podcast in here, and I've heard the audiobook is really good as well, because they actually do like full cast and have like a little bit of like actual, like it seems like an actual podcast. And basically he's trying to figure it out, and she's like teamed up with him, and she's like, yeah, no, I kind of want to figure it out too, but she's so like
blunt and very funny, and she's very much like casual about like, I'd love to know if I murdered her, like that'd be really great, no, I'm actually really interested, and she's very funny. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the humour, I'm enjoying like figuring out stuff about these characters. I'm really interested to know what is going on, who did it, and I'm having an excellent time. So really enjoying this. It's very much whiplash from the last book, but loving it, so that's positive at least. I'm not a negative person, I promise.
Hey guys, so it is now Thursday the 21st, so I feel like we're kind of doing okay for timing, I finished up Listen for the Lie last night and I absolutely love this. I thought this was a really good mystery slash thriller, I guess, and I loved the podcast aspect. I gave it a 4.5. I thought it was great. I would definitely read more from Amy Tintera. I think she's just done like YA stuff previously, so I probably won't read that, but I'll keep an eye out for what else comes out in the future from her. But yeah, this was a really interesting mystery. I didn't predict where we were going to go. I thought it had a good resolution that I enjoyed as well. I enjoyed following the characters. I really enjoyed the podcast aspect as well. I think that makes it really fun. And yeah, I thought the writing was really gripping. The mystery was interesting. And yeah, overall just like really positive vibes to this one. It's not something that does something crazy like where Wrong Place Wrong Time has like time travel, or like True Crime Story has like full mixed media interviews. I thought it was very much an above average thriller. I feel like this is very widely recommendable. I feel like a lot of people would enjoy this, and I feel like it's got potential for like a very large like mass appeal, which is great. I think this is a really excellent one. I had such a fun time with it. It's not like a favourite of all time, but I think it's the best one we've read so far for this video, obviously besides We Solve Murders, but that doesn't really count because I'd already read that previously and we haven't actually technically talked about it yet, but like definitely the best so far. And I think if the other books were on this level, I'd be very pleased. 4.5 is a very high rating for me. I am quite picky, especially with mysteries and thrillers. So yeah, I really love this one. So I would definitely highly recommend this. Like I said, I think a lot of people would really enjoy it. So then I did the little jar again, and I'll put those clips in now. Okay, we're back picking again. Ideally, I would love something I can have the audiobook for, just because I do have some work today and some chores and stuff that I want to do via audiobook. I also have today and tomorrow off work, which is great. So we should get some really good reading done. I think I'm going to let myself pick a second time if I don't get an audiobook, and then if that one's not an audiobook, we'll just go for that one and just firm it. But I'm going to give myself 2 chances to get an audiobook, so let's go for this one. What is that one? Is that the last one at the wedding? The Last One at the Wedding. Okay, I don't think I've got the audiobook for that, so I'm going to try one more. If not, maybe I'll actually read that one, and we'll just see if this is an audio. So The Last One at the Wedding is not too long. What is that one? Is that The Boyfriend? The Boyfriend. Okay, that is pretty easy. So we've got The Boyfriend by Freida McFadden. I will be listening to this via audio. Honestly, it can't be worse than The Teacher. It cannot be worse than The Teacher. You know, I think it should be okay. And I will pick up this one after that, or today when I'm not listening to an audiobook or whatever. But this will be what I'll read first. Move on to The Boyfriend. Fun. I have not high expectations like whatsoever, but just like it has to be better. It has to be better than Teacher. Like I feel like we've hit the rock bottom. We can't be worse. Do you know what I mean? I have started both the audio and reading on my Kindle of The Boyfriend by Freida McFadden, and it's fine. It's fine. It's better than The Teacher so far because like it doesn't like offend me deeply to my core and like make me grossed out. We are 36% through, if you can see there. I don't think it's coming into focus, but like we are. Like I'm sure you believe me. Do you know what I mean? And it's fine. It's definitely readable. I was getting a little bit like bored. It's not super duper interesting, and I feel like with Freida McFadden's books they're super predictable. Again, not a problem, but like I would like not like, do you know what I mean, not the stories to go in like the exact way, but like you would expect it to, and then I find that she throws in a crazy twist that like you never would have guessed, and it's just like, oh okay, like that's not a good twist, just like an out of the box, like out of pocket twist, just for the sake of like catching the reader off guard. But we are basically following 2 perspectives. We're following Tom, who is a teenager, very suspicious, enjoys fantasizing about murder a lot, so that's a bit troubling. And then we meet Sydney in the current timeline, and she's like trying to just like a 30-year-old or something, I guess, and she's like trying to find a date. And let me see how much is revealed in the synopsis. Okay, so she gets a new boyfriend, and then there's like a string of murders kind of in her local area where a guy kind of dates victims and then kills them. And I mean, I would put 2 and 2 together, but I mean, obviously we will see. Very average so far, maybe like a 2. I just don't care, like I just don't care, that's the issue. But I am going to do some colouring now. I'm very excited because I very much enjoy going through my little colouring book, and I'm going to do that now, and we are going to get listening, and hopefully I can finish it off this evening. Hello, I have finished up The Boyfriend. It is now Friday evening. I finished up The Boyfriend last night. I don't love it. It was better than The Teacher. Like, The Teacher was like, I gave it a 1, but I couldn't give it less. Like, the gap between The Boyfriend and The Teacher is significant. I gave The Boyfriend a 1.5. I objectively didn't particularly enjoy it. However, it wasn't like deeply disgusting to me as a person, and I didn't get angry at it. I think the main character was incredibly stupid. At some point, I'm like, obviously no one deserves to get murdered, but like, if I was to pick someone that did, I would kind of think it was her because she was so stupid. Her friend had been murdered after going on a date from a dating app with a doctor, and she then goes on the same dating app and goes on dates with the doctor. Is there no self-preservation? There's no self-preservation. And then she finds things that are potentially suspicious and just like ticks on, carries on, not really a care in the world really. Yeah, I mean, one aspect of the twist I did enjoy, and it did catch me off guard slightly, so that's why we got a 0.5 added on. I also think the previous past timeline, I obviously understand how it plays into the story, but I think it could have been flashbacks. I think it was too long and I really didn't care about it. I think it could have been less than like 50-50. I think it really could have been like 20% of the book. And yeah, overall I just find it a bit boring. Like, I really find Freida McFadden's books a little bit boring, which is not what you're meant to get from a thriller. I feel like at about the 60% mark, I'm like, okay, like I've had enough. I feel like they are very predictable to a point, I guess. They kind of just go along the way you think they're going to go, and then there's a bigger twist, I guess. And I did, like I said, enjoy the twist in this one. It did catch me off guard. However, like, that doesn't make up for the rest of the book, I think, not being particularly great and well written. So yeah, unfortunately I just didn't enjoy it, but I do kind of understand why people would enjoy this one, definitely compared to The Teacher. However, I have now started up something different, which I'm very excited about. So when I did the TBR jar for The Boyfriend, we also picked out The Last One at the Wedding, which is what I have started now. I'm now about a third of the way through. I am on page 126, which is chapter 10. So we're basically following Frank in this, who is kind of estranged from his daughter, and he gets an invitation to his daughter's wedding, which he goes to, and they're trying to kind of patch things up. She's about to marry this like super rich kind of like son of a billionaire, I think, and there's just some suspicion surrounding the son of the billionaire a bit, and Frank's basically just a little bit suspicious of what's going on. The vibes are a little bit odd, but obviously that's kind of where we're at the moment. He's at the wedding now, and yeah, things just seem like they're obviously going to be a bit weird. Maybe like things aren't quite as they seem with his family, and yeah, overall that's kind of where we are at the moment. I'm excited to keep on with it. I did enjoy Hidden Pictures. I think I gave it like a 4, and I'm excited for this one, so let's see where we go. It feels a lot shorter than it actually is. Like, this looks like it should be like 280 and it's like 330, which I know isn't that big of a difference, but still, I will hopefully finish this off by tomorrow morning. And then I do want to move on to ones that I think maybe won't be in the top 10, because on Sunday the voting closes for the first round, and I feel like I'm going to be less motivated to pick up books that are not in the top 10 after the top 10 are announced. Does that make sense? So yeah, anyway, that is the plan. Hey guys, please ignore the very aggressive lighting. When it gets dark in here, I don't have too many other options. I've got like my Louis lamp on, and she's a bright girly pop. She is bright. However, I have now finished up The Last One at the Wedding by Jason Rekulak, and unfortunately I am a little bit disappointed by this one. I decided to give this one a 3. I think this had a really good premise and really good setup, pretty good potential. However, I felt like as the story devolved, obviously like certain things were revealed, but nothing particularly interesting to me personally, and I ended up becoming really frustrated with the main character. I feel like the main character was kind of like willfully ignorant to a lot of information, and I didn't even like the ending. Do you know what I mean? Like, that didn't even feel particularly resolved to me, and yeah, I just felt like he was kind of stupid at points and then kind of being really dumb, and just like, yeah, kind of, I don't know, I just found him very frustrating. And I thought that the setting was really good. I did like the pacing in here, I liked the writing. However, I think we had potential to go like proper crazy. Like we're basically following rich people as they've like rented out this kind of summer camp entirely, pretty much. We could have gone full crazy, like midsummer, like those type of vibes, like really, really weird, like, you know, something kind of interesting, and instead we kind of stayed very boring and very generic, unfortunately. So yeah, it was kind of just rich people being shit. What's new? Rich people being how rich people are, do you know what I mean? Like it's not completely crazy, and yeah, a little bit underwhelming. So I gave this one a 3 because there were aspects I liked, but yeah, I was just a little bit disappointed with it. And I have now started also the audiobook for Not What She Seems, because like I mentioned, I do want to read some of the kind of less popular ones, and it's now Saturday, so I think I've got some really good progress going, and this one is on Audible and Kindle Unlimited, like for free, which is great. I don't know how far through I am, it's not really telling me, but I'm on chapter 26 and I think I'm over halfway through now. And again, this one is also like just boring me a bit. I feel like we're a little bit boring in this one. We're basically following this woman as she's gone back to her hometown, and I believe everyone kind of thinks that she was involved in her dad dying or going missing, but her granddad has recently died and she's trying to figure out, because she finds it a little bit suspicious, she's trying to like figure things out basically. But up until this point, I think I'm about 60% through, she's believed it's one person and we've stuck with that, and like we're continuing on like with that thought. And I feel like, firstly, if it is that person, how incredibly dull, but like what I would presume is it's not that person, because, you know, otherwise that'd be incredibly dull. But then like, why are we spending so long on this? And it's just feeling really, really boring, and I'm honestly like not particularly interested at all, unfortunately. And she's also being stupid and making stupid decisions. So yeah, not the best kind of little run of 2, but hopefully I'll finish that off tonight and be able to start something else afterwards. So yeah, that's my little update. We're doing pretty good, I think, in terms of like getting everything read in time. Okay, so I have finished up with Not What She Seems by Yasmin and Goe. I believe that's how you say it, I'm not sure. And I didn't love this one. I think I settled on a 2.5 for this, unfortunately. I think with this one, I just wasn't particularly interested in the mystery. I don't think it was particularly gripping. It most definitely wasn't a thriller, and I think towards the end I was kind of just skim reading a little bit because I was like really, really, really bored. And yeah, I don't think this was a particularly entertaining mystery. I mean, I finished this like 2 days ago, now I'm talking to you, and I like low-key can't really remember much that actually happened. I thought the writing was fine, but I just think if it's a mystery thriller, I don't really want it to be like boring, do you know what I mean? And yeah, unfortunately I just didn't really enjoy it very much at all. And yeah, I think there wasn't like a true mystery to this plot, really. And obviously I don't mind a literary mystery sometimes, but I just feel like it was very underwhelming and boring and just a bit too long as well. It was like just shy of like 400 pages, and like I really don't think very much happened. I think the main character was being very, very, very stupid at some times, and it was really frustrating, and I just didn't really enjoy it whatsoever, really, to be honest. But on a happier note, I will insert the footage now, but I wanted to pick out another book, but my cat was on my lap, so I could not move, and I filmed on my phone. And picked out The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins, and I'm now about 2/3 of the way through, and this one's quite interesting. I also don't think this has a strong mystery plot to it particularly. The only real mystery here is kind of like the characters are keeping secrets type of situation, but we are basically kind of following 2 timelines, I guess. We are following Camden and Jules, and Camden's like the heir to this kind of massive estate and fortune, and his adopted mother, who is the main heiress, I guess, she has recently died, so he's going back to the kind of family house that he doesn't really have very good memories with. Every now and again we're getting kind of chapters from his mother kind of writing about her like 4 husbands that she had and how they all mysteriously died, and kind of revealing some secrets. And in the kind of present timeline, he's gone back to the house, and his partner Jules, she is kind of also hiding some secrets. She's kind of very keen on him to go back to the house for some particular reason. And yeah, I'm very much enjoying it, actually. Again, I don't think this has a strong mystery plot, but it is a reasonably interesting read. I'm enjoying the storytelling, and it's pretty short as well, so it's like not
dragging out. I definitely think I'm going to finish this off today, and then I think I'm going to pick up All the Colours of the Dark because I do want an audiobook and that one's a bit long, so I think it'd be good to kind of like get that one done and out the way. I am looking forward to this and enjoying it, continuing on with it, and that is about where we're at. Okay, this very easily could be the exact same angle that I last spoke to you in, but I promise it has been a little bit of time. I have now finished up The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins, and I did enjoy this one. I gave it a 3.5. I don't think the mystery aspect in this is super duper strong. There was no twists in here really, in my opinion. Like, everything seemed pretty, not predictable necessarily, because it didn't even feel like that type of book. Kind of just felt like everything kind of followed on the trajectory you would imagine it to. I would maybe call it more of a literary mystery, but then again, it doesn't really feel particularly literary in the way that like I know other books have, so I just felt a little bit confused about this. I did enjoy it, I enjoyed the writing, etc, etc, but just in terms of like the actual point of the book as a whole, it just seemed a little bit kind of, I don't know, not like pointless, but just in like it's not a particularly crazy idea or unique, but like it also wasn't bad. Like, for reading like 150 books a year, I enjoyed this, but if I was reading like 5 books a year, I wouldn't necessarily want this to be one of them, because it's not like special or unique. It's just like so entirely middle of the road, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, 3.5, very, very mid, but it was a nice quick one to get through. And now, obviously, like I mentioned, I have been listening to All the Colours of the Dark, but I won't actually talk about that one yet, just because I'm only like 30% through and it's such a long audiobook, and I want to do some physical reading, and that's one that I actually don't have any access to physically. So let's pull this. I would still kind of want one that I maybe don't think is going to be in the top 10, but let's see what we get. We've got House of Glass, which is by Sarah Peckerland, so I don't really think this will be in the top 10, probably. I've got this one here, it's one I've got from the library, so I'll give this one a start now. I honestly have no idea what this is about. I have not read anything by Sarah Peckerland, or by her and Greer Hendricks, I believe, have written stuff together, but yeah, I can't lie, I don't think this is going to make top 10. I'm honestly very surprised to see it in there anyway, but yeah, let's give this one a go. It looks kind of new, I can't lie, I don't know if anyone's actually checked this out from the library yet, but yeah, I'm going to give this a read. Hey guys, so I am now currently about 60% of the way through All the Colours of the Dark, and she's long. She's a long girly pop. She's like 600 and something pages, but I am enjoying it. I think it's alright. I really don't think this is a mystery, like at all, I can't lie. It's very much not giving those vibes. I'm gonna actually quickly look up the synopsis just to check that I don't spoil anything, because I want to obviously give you guys a little overview. Okay, so I think I can talk about this. Basically, this happens in the first 20-30%, but basically we are following Saint and Patch. They are like best friends, and they're both kind of like outcasty vibes, but one day Patch basically sees a girl getting kind of like attacked by this guy, and he intervenes, she gets away, and then he gets kidnapped by this same man. And when he's kidnapped, he basically is kind of kept with this one girl who he forms like a really strong bond with, and then eventually he gets out and he kind of makes it his life mission to find her. And then Saint, on the other hand, she is obviously like very much leading the charge, ready to find Patch, which we'll get onto in a sec, and then she's kind of spending her life trying to like figure out more details about the case, trying to catch the guy, etc, etc, etc. So that all kind of happens in the first third, and then kind of, at least for the rest of the book so far, we are kind of just following these characters in their lives, and I can't lie, it's reading a little bit boring. This is most definitely not a mystery. There isn't really any super mysterious things happening that are kind of more so than just an average literary fiction book. I definitely think this is highly miscategorized. I am enjoying it so far. I definitely feel kind of an attachment to the characters. However, sometimes they are doing things that I'm like, that's really quite annoying there. And one of my main gripes is kind of like Saint is so heavily involved in the case, from like finding him to like finding clues and stuff like that before she's even like an adult. Like when she's a teenager, she's like at the crime scenes, she's like finding things, she's like kind of almost interviewing and kind of like going to meet suspects, and I just feel like that's potentially maybe not super duper realistic for a book that does kind of aim to sit very highly in realism. It's kind of turned into more of like a character study of the both of them, and I mean, it's reasonably interesting. It's sitting in the 3 stars. Like, I won't act like it's not well written. It's just a little bit boring. It's not a book I would pick up by itself. It doesn't sit well within this category, in my opinion. But she's a long girl, so I'm going to be very excited to kind of tick this one off the list. And yeah, I will catch up with you when I've finished it. I'm going to show you something just really quick. So like, this is Spotify, right? We see, yeah, that's the end of the book. What did I do to deserve this? No, please, please. No, actually, please. No, because why? Today has been a roller coaster. I ran out of my own audiobook hours with 1 minute 20 left, and I just want to say, if anyone from Spotify is watching this video, the fact that you are including the minutes that I went back and re-listened to because the book was so confusing and I had to listen to it again, the fact that you are including that in my audiobook hours, it's on site. I'm coming for you and your company, and I'm gonna bring you down because this is not okay, and I'm very annoyed. And then Ellen, literally my new god, I worship Ellen now. She had a bit of Spotify left, she gave me some Spotify, and they did it again to me. They've done it again. I'm literally 25 minutes out. I don't even like the book. I'm trying to debate whether it's morally wrong to go into Waterstones and read the last 3 chapters. I don't want to buy it. Do not make me buy it. It's big and it would take up shelf space, and it's a hardback. I think I'm getting really close, you guys. I'm very sorry about that. It's a hardback. She's long. She's boring. Like, to be honest, I could probably go through my life and not know the ending. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't care, but like for the vlog and for the whole purpose of this video, like I should know. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's literally fine. It's literally fine. It's fine. I'll figure it out. If anyone works for Spotify, I'm fuming. Everybody say thank you, Gemma. Gemma has saved my life. Gemma has given me access to her Spotify for the last 25 minutes. Oh my god. Okay, thank you, Ellen and Gemma, for literally saving me from having to buy a full book that I wasn't even enjoying that much in a hardback to read the last hour and like 12 minutes, I think it was. Thank you so much. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. So she will be finished today. I will not have to go into Waterstones and like secretly read the pages. Loving my life. Loving my life. I'm so happy. Thank you guys. Love my friends. Yay! Hello, I have finished up All the Colours of the Dark, finally, after some very lovely friends helped me out with that one, and it was a 3. After all that, it was a 3. So yeah, a little bit disappointing there, I won't lie. I think for me, it really dragged, especially the middle part. Like, if you asked me to kind of explain what had happened in this book and plot it out for 600 pages, I don't actually think I'd be able to tell you, like, at all, like genuinely what actually happened that warranted that much explanation and stuff. And I feel like we spent so long with the characters. This was kind of, some reviews talk about it being more of a character study than a mystery, which is definitely true, but I also don't even feel like I was that connected to many of the characters, and like their decisions just didn't make a lot of sense to me at some points, and some of these situations that people were in were just absolutely ridiculous. And like, I'm not someone that needs like realism in my books, but sometimes it's like a little bit unbelievable, do you know what I mean? So yeah, unfortunately it just did not hit for me. Nowhere near the mystery category. Like, this isn't even a mystery book, really. I mean, we get some vague hints at it kind of like at the start and at the end, but like, it's really not. It's absolutely not. So it was a 3. It was fine. That's literally how I feel about it. It was fine. It was too long. It was a bit dull. And that's about it, really. But I'm now halfway through House of Glass. I lied when I said I was going to finish this one first. I am, yeah, halfway through, I think maybe 60% through. And this one is interesting. It's definitely kind of piqued my interest the more I've got into it. In this one, we are following Stella, who is basically kind of working for kind of like the government in terms of like, it's almost like Child Protective Services, in that like, she is someone that will come in when there's a kind of custody situation, and she's going to kind of try and figure out what's in the best interest for the child. So she goes to the Barclays house where there's the 2 parents, the grandma and the child, and the nanny has previously died in the house a little bit suspiciously, and they don't know who did it, and they're kind of suspicious of everyone in the house. It does give me the vibes of Turn of the Key, just in terms of like the house, the kind of like weird vibes from the family, and like the having a nanny involved, I guess, and also I guess being pushed out window too. I'm actually really pleasantly surprised by this one. I thought it was going to be really kind of like boring. Hey Willow! I thought it was going to be really boring, but I was actually pleasantly surprised, and it's kind of like mid to like high, I guess, in terms of enjoyment. Sorry, my cat is like in my room as if she's never been in here before, kind of sniffing everything. So yeah, like in the solid 3s, somewhere between like a 3 and a 4. Like, I definitely kind of pleasantly enjoying it. So yeah, I will catch you when I finished it, hopefully this evening, because it's Wednesday and voting closes on Sunday. So remember when I said that I was going to just read the bottom 10 first? That's actually not what's going to happen. I'm going to try and read the top 10 before Sunday and then go back to the top 20. So yeah,
catch you later. Hello everybody, I've got a lot to chat about. We've got a lot to talk about. First things first, I have finished up House of Glass and I like this one. I thought it was good. I thought nothing too crazy happened. It wasn't a crazy thriller, but it was like a classic, fine read. I definitely got more interested as the book went on. Again, I don't really predict things, like I don't try and predict things, so it would have been maybe predictable I think if you were trying to do so, but I wasn't, so that's not really a factor that matters to me. I am giving this a 3.5, I think was the rating that I settled on. It was definitely fine, a little bit mid. Like again, I feel the same way about this as I do kind of about The Mystery Guest maybe. Like it's nothing I would run to pick up if like someone comped it. You know what I mean? If someone was like, this is just like House of Glass by Sarah Peckinpah, I wouldn't be like overly keen to read it, but like it was fine. It was reasonably enjoyable. And I accidentally read the entirety of The Midnight Feast without updating you. So sorry about that. I picked it up via audiobook and I was just listening to it, and then I noticed I was like 75% through, and I was like, I kind of just want to finish it. And so I did. It was a very, very quick read and I enjoyed that one too. I have decided to give that one a 3.75. I did enjoy it. It's just not quite a 5-star for me, I think. With this one, I actually wasn't super sucked into the mystery. I was actually just quite interested in the characters, and I really liked listening to the audiobook because one of the characters has like a West Country kind of Dorset accent, and I don't know whether they were from Dorset, but the audiobook narrator does a really, really good job of that, and it really kind of brings the characters to life. And also it's full cast, there's multiple narrators for all the different perspectives. So in this one, as with a lot of other Lucy Foley books, we are kind of getting everyone's perspective about 5 characters or so, I believe. And it's basically this kind of a manor house in this slightly like kind of rundown area maybe is being turned into this big kind of like hippie-esque kind of wellness type retreat, and it's their opening day, and we follow the woman who's owning it and kind of opening it, her husband, the kind of architect, a guy that works there, and a woman that has come to visit and like is maybe kind of a bit suspicious of everything that's going on. Also a detective the next day, like after the solstice. So we're kind of getting perspective of everyone as they're kind of going around and like some suspicious stuff is happening. We're also getting past timeline chapters of a journal by one of the girls who lived in the caravan park, I believe, or was like holidaying there and was like meeting up with the people that lived in the manor. And it's all kind of interconnected and stuff like that. I definitely think there was a lot going on here. Sorry, my blanket has been in the corner. There was a lot going on. It didn't feel like too much, but I do think sometimes Lucy Foley's books kind of lack a little bit because so much time is spent with like this multitude of characters. That's the only thing really. And like we were doing a lot, and I think at the start when we were kind of getting new character, new character, new character, new character, new timeline, next day with the detective, I was like, this is like kind of too much. But after a while it definitely got kind of like easier to kind of comprehend, I guess. And I did overall enjoy it. I think it's my favourite from her that I've read. I also gave The Hunting Party a 3.75, but I think I like this one a little bit more. I'm not oversold on her books, but I do always kind of like reasonably enjoy them, and I do always find them pretty quick reads. So I would pick up more from her. I haven't picked up the guest list, but I really do want to. Hopefully next year I can. And now I'm going to start God of the Woods, which is one that is kind of for no reason a 5-star. Like I just get the vibes, 5-star prediction. So we'll see, but I'm very, very much excited for it, and this is probably the one out of the whole video that I am the most excited for, maybe. So I am going to start that now this evening, and today is Thursday evening, just for context in terms of our little deadline. Hello, sorry my fringe looks really weird. I had it back in a hairband, but I am now actually quite a decent way through. I think maybe 70% of the way through God of the Woods by Liz Moore, and unfortunately it's not a 5-star. It's not a 5-star, sadly. However, I am still enjoying it. It's sitting somewhere in the 4 region. I am definitely enjoying this. We are, sorry, this lighting is so bad. Is it better if I do this, or is that like more aggressive? Ooh, that's aggressive. Okay, that's a little bit better, I guess. But in this, we are following so many characters that I think it's just better for me to tell you about the plot rather than like we are following XYZ. But basically there is this summer camp on this kind of like grand estate type of thing, where the owners of the estate, like the rich family, they have people that like run the camp every year. It's like about like getting people in touch with nature and stuff. It's like a children's summer camp. So we follow Alice, who is the mother in this family. She's like married into this rich family, and her son Bear goes missing in this area. I think that's in like the 1960s or so. And then we also follow some of the people at the camp, Barbara and Tracy, in Tracy's point of view, but we follow her kind of friendship with Barbara building over the course of the camp. And Barbara is Alice's daughter. It's about 10 years after Bear, the son, has gone missing, and then Barbara goes missing as well. So we're following that, and then we are also following the perspective of Louise, who is kind of the camp counselor in charge of Tracy and Barbara. We follow Alice in both timelines, and then we also follow Carl in the previous timeline. He is someone that's kind of a volunteer fireman, and he works at the camp, so he's kind of involved in the initial search and stuff. And then we also follow the investigator Judita, who is investigating the 1975, which is like the now timeline, that's the main timeline. She is one of the investigators kind of trying to figure out the case. So we are following lots of people across lots of different timelines. It's quite overwhelming, and like it's just a lot, you know. Like at the start you can see who we're following and what timeline we're in, and it's just a lot to follow. I think maybe we could have done with Alice, Tracy and Judita. I think that's all we really needed. We are finding out some stuff through Louise's point of view. However, I think we either needed Judita or Louise. I think you could do the investigative aspect, either Louise is kind of taking on more, or Judita is just doing kind of more investigative stuff that like Louise is finding information out through like relationships she has as kind of like more informally. But like I don't think we need the both of them, because Louise and Tracy, at least at the start, they're sleeping in the same camps. They have a reasonably similar experience, and I just don't think we need so much. We don't need like Carl from the previous timeline, really. It does add a bit, but like the amount of timelines and the amount of characters I think is slightly overly ambitious, unfortunately, and I think it's just trying to do too much, to the point that like I don't think we've heard from Tracy in chapters and chapters, and I was really enjoying her kind of perspective, and it's kind of left me feeling a little bit further back from certain characters and not being able to properly connect to them, just because there are so many that we're reading the perspective of. But besides that, I am enjoying it, although that was kind of like a long negative kind of aspect. I've been listening to the audiobook and I've got really far through it reasonably quickly, which is nice. I love an easy listen. I didn't really like the narrator at first. She sounds like she's like a full chain smoker, like croaky throat, but I have gotten used to that, so it's not too bad. And yeah, it's okay. It is good. It is good. It's just not kind of what I had hoped. I don't know what I was necessarily hoping for, but maybe like a bit more heart, or maybe a little bit more intrigue. I was hoping it was kind of going to be like my Bright Young Women / Wrong Place Wrong Time experience, where I found like an unexpected gem. However, I fear that in this video I will just be voting for Richard Osman. But today also is Friday the 29th. The vote closes on Monday morning for me, and then the results are out in a week, so we are running the clock down. But yeah, I am definitely going to finish this one off tonight. I don't think that should be an issue at all. And yeah, it is like an interesting story. I'm interested in the mystery. Where I am now, I think we're starting to kind of figure things out. I'm enjoying it. Sorry, please excuse if I have like colouring stuff on my hands. I just actually finished my colouring book. Can't really see, but like I have now finished and I've done every page, which is crazy. I've had this for like 3 weeks. I will catch up with you probably tomorrow, and I'm either going to start First Eye Wins or How to Solve Your Own Murder, just because they're the others in the top 10 that I haven't yet got around to. Hello, we are falling behind. It is currently Sunday at 9 PM and the vote closes in, what is that, 11 hours? And I would still have a book and a half to read in that time, and I would like to sleep because I do have like a full day at work tomorrow. However, I'm just going to keep pretending like that isn't an issue right now, and we're just going to keep chugging on. I do have some progress because I did finish up The God of the Woods, and I did like this one. I unfortunately did have very high expectations. Like I just got the vibes that it would be a 5-star, and it wasn't. I gave this one a 4. I thought it was good. A lot of my thoughts from kind of the middle part still stand. It was good. It was a good literary mystery. I think it definitely leans much more mystery than like All the Colours of the Dark or other kind of books like that have been nominated previously. I'm not necessarily angry about this being in this category, and I did enjoy it. But again, like I said, I think we had either too many characters or too many timelines, or like a mix of both. It was just a lot for
this book. I feel like maybe it was slightly too ambitious on that front, and I feel like could have maybe padded out the actual plot a little bit more instead of having so many characters. I also think the fact that this is on a summer camp is super duper appealing to me. I love summer camp settings for some reason, so I definitely think that had maybe slightly upped the rating too. I also don't know if the drop on the front is meant to mean something. I think I heard someone say that it did mean something, but like I don't think it did. I can't remember, but overall I liked it. I liked the resolution of everything, and I thought it was a good read. I think if you read more literary, you would also really enjoy this too. I think history lovers would also like this. So I don't unfortunately have tons to say about it. It was a 4-star and it was enjoyable, just not kind of like high 5-star prediction. However, I am now halfway through First Lie Wins. I'm gagged. Guys, I'm gagged. I love this. I am enjoying this so much. This is very unique for a thriller. I've not read anything like this necessarily before. It does feel a little bit kind of different than a generic thriller. I knew nothing going into this, and I would recommend going into it reasonably blind. All I knew was that this woman is kind of like lying about her identity in her life, really. But it is a lot more than that, and it's so interesting, and I'm so intrigued. And I just like don't notice the time passing when I'm reading, and I'm just like absolutely sucked in. I feel like that's a really good sign. I'm really excited to see where we go from here, and I'm just having a really great time with this. The story is so interesting. We get a little bit of flashbacks and also a bit of now. There's kind of like multiple, I guess, lines going through the story as well, which is really interesting. And yeah, I can't wait to see where things go, and I can't wait. So I'm literally just having the best time. I feel like when I really like a book I have less to say, but I cannot wait to continue this, and I'm going to finish this off tonight at least, and then make some progress, and then we'll vote for our winner. And it probably will be Richard Osman, because as much as this is giving 5-star vibes, it's not like Richard Osman 5-star like favourite of all time. It's like, this is really good, you know, 5-star, potential favourite of the year, not favourite of all time, but that's okay. I'm more than happy to have as many 5 stars as I can get, so very excited to finish this off. Hello, I have now finished up First Lie Wins, 5 stars. I am so excited that we did have a 5-star from this video, one I hadn't already read, and I'm just so excited about it. I love this one. This is like everything I want in a thriller. I do actually think it goes down a slightly unique route as well. It's not kind of just your generic thriller, and we've got some kind of like not darker, but like slightly more interesting themes, I guess. And yeah, I thought this was so fun, so interesting. There were twists in here that I like was jaw dropped about. I loved it. I heard some reviews, like I read on Goodreads, people were saying that it was like a little bit slow paced, but I did not find that at all. I like completely forgot that I was reading. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just get that feeling and you're just like absolutely sucked into a book. Like, I was doing like 1 hour sprints, and it would get to like an hour and I'd be like, I felt like I was reading for 10 minutes. Like, I sped through this. I read it practically in a day, really, and I just loved it so much. I really liked our main character. I loved the other characters we were following. I thought it was really interesting dynamics and stuff, and yeah, I just absolutely love this. This was a 5-star thriller for me, and I definitely think it will make it onto my favourites list for this year, which is so exciting. It is now Monday, so the voting has closed, and I did vote, unsurprisingly, for We Solve Murders, just like so special to me, and I love it dearly. So I will insert the clips of me talking about it now. I love this. I really love this. I thought this was such a fun story. It has the same Richard Osman style, just like different characters, different scenarios. I think this one's great because you can see a load of different places. We're kind of jet setting all over the world, whereas obviously the people are so old in Thursday Murder Club, they don't really travel via plane very often. I could definitely see a lot of similarities between characters. His writing and tone is very much the same, which is like what I love from him. I can't wait to read more from this series. It was really fun, and yeah, I think I would reread this one as well. Literally all positive things to say about this one. We have until Thursday, I believe, to read all of the other books, which is fine. I have been actually listening to the audio of Darling Girls by Sally Hepworth, and I've accidentally got really near to the end. On Goodreads it says I'm 75% of the way through, but like I low-key think I could be further through. In this one we are basically following 3 girls who were foster children at the same foster home, I guess, with the same woman who was very like abusive and kind of like horrible to them. And then we're also following, I believe it is the woman, the foster parent. Also we get clips of her like in therapy, I guess, as a younger child, and basically they found a body like buried at the foster home, so the girls were kind of brought back to the area and they're potentially suspects, and they kind of obviously think that maybe the foster mother did it, and it's all kind of unraveling like that. But I am not
overly fussed on this one. Unfortunately, I love the cover though. I think the cover's so pretty. This one is just not hitting for me. I think it's got some very dark themes, and it's kind of all just basically you're getting flashbacks to them kind of as children going through all this stuff, and it's not super gratuitous or anything like that. However, it is still like present, and she's very like neglectful and like kind of manipulative, etc, etc. So we're following that, and we're also kind of following them in present day every now and again as well, but we're not actually getting much in the way of solving the actual mystery. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's not particularly moving forward with that as the core of it, I guess. So yeah, it's a little bit underwhelming to me, and it's definitely nowhere near the last book that I read, but I should finish this off today, and then hopefully we can start another one too, and maybe I can get this finished by Thursday. We'll see. We will see. Hey guys, I have a ton of updates. First things first. Yeah, that's the day. That is the day. The results are out. And I've not finished up the books, unfortunately, but I did film my reaction this morning, so I'll just pop that in at the end of the video, and we'll pretend that the chronology is fine. But I do have a bunch of updates, and I am very much determined to finish up this video. I have finished up Darling Girls by Sally Hepworth, and unfortunately I didn't love this one. It just felt a little bit off to me for some reason. I think it wasn't particularly interesting as a mystery. I definitely think this one lent much more heavily into kind of just general litfic type of thing. Again, there wasn't a huge mystery in my opinion. In this one they are basically trying to figure out whose body it is that's found buried in their old foster home and what happened to them. And a lot of this is kind of just a previous timeline of the girls in their foster home, and it's not like incredibly traumatic to read, but like it is very clear that these girls are getting abused, and there's kind of all forms of abuse in other kind of aspects of the book too, and it all just feels a little bit dark. I don't know, I feel like a lot of stuff was maybe like brushed off slightly, I guess, I don't know. And then at the end I really didn't like the reveal or like the final chapter. I really don't like kind of reveals like that. I think it was a little bit ridiculous, and I think the villain, if you will, in this just kind of became a bit cartoon villain-esque. So I think I give this a 2.75, so not particularly an excellent rating. It wasn't deplorable, do you know what I mean? Like it wasn't the worst book I've ever read. I think I rounded it up to a 3 on Goodreads, so very middle of the road, but probably not a recommendation from me, which is a shame because I think it's a cute book, just like in terms of the cover and stuff. And then I read All of Society of Lies. Apologies about that for not talking about it. But this was one that I bought the audiobook for, so I thought I might as well just kind of listen to it, and then kind of as I was working my way through it, it was very, very long for one. It felt long to me. I don't know whether that's just like because I've been reading so much recently, but I ended up just kind of finishing it off via audio, and this one was good. I think I settled on like a 3.5 for this one. It was very much a kind of run-of-the-mill type of thriller. It reminded me a lot of The It Girl and kind of other books where characters have been at this kind of like prestigious academic school and someone's died, and then they are in the future kind of back or reflecting on it for some reason. So in this one we are following mainly Naomi and Maya. They are sisters about 10 years apart, and Naomi went to Princeton, and when she was there someone in like the secret society she was a part of died, and then we are following kind of flashbacks to that timeline, and then also we are following her in the present day as her sister Maya's been murdered and was potentially part of the society as well and potentially related, and then we also get flashbacks to Maya, her perspective of around the time like before her death. So it's definitely an interesting book. I definitely think it kind of falls on the better half of the books that we've read in this video. I would kind of recommend it if it sounded like something you were interested in. I think if I hadn't read so many mystery thrillers back to back to back to back, I would potentially have given this like a 4-star, but like a 3.5 felt fine to me. I'm just really surprised that this ended up in the Goodreads Choice Awards, because it came out on the 1st of October and it's a debut, and it is a Reese's book club pick, but it doesn't have a ton of ratings. So I don't know, it just feels a bit random for this one to be included in here. Obviously I like that we are getting debut authors, we're getting a little bit more diversity in the genre. I'm not going to hate on a woman being in the mystery thriller category, just it was a little bit bizarre to see it here, and like, you know, other kind of like staples of the genre, not like maybe Ruth Ware or something like that. Again, that's not a complaint whatsoever. I thought it was interesting that this one got put in here, and I was kind of wondering about the like processes that get something nominated, but it's fine. It's definitely an enjoyable one. If you like kind of dark academia type of vibes, you might enjoy this. I definitely feel like it is quite dark academia, not quite as much as like If We're Villains, but does, I think if you like the It Girl, maybe you would like this too. There's also a couple of like little conversations on like race, kind of like teacher-student dynamics, which seems to be a prevalent theme. Among these books, we've got a ton of teacher-student dynamics and like summer house slash big estates and like events that happen there. But yeah, it was good and enjoyable. I am currently also, triple update pretty much, I am about halfway through Middle of the Night by Radhi Sagar. I'm listening to this as well. I bought this in the Audible sale and I'm really enjoying this too. It's not my favourite by him. It's definitely very much enjoyable. I've heard kind of negative things about this one. I've not really heard anything particularly positive. I don't know whether people didn't enjoy this throughout or it was something towards the end they didn't enjoy, because at this point at least I'm very much enjoying it. I think it's like a very decent thriller. We are basically following Ethan, who's like just moved back home because his parents have like moved out their childhood home, and when he was a kid in the same house, him and his friend were camping in the back garden and his friend got kidnapped. Pretty much like there was a cut in the tent and he woke up and he wasn't there. And then in this current timeline he's starting to get weird vibes. There's kind of, I guess, insinuations of like paranormal stuff as well, as we do get in quite a few Radhi Sagars. I'm not sure how much that will play into the kind of resolution of the book. I'm really excited to see where we go from here. I like The Only One Left. I really liked House Across the Lake. I love that kind of House Across the Lake really like went full balls to the wall like commitment to the concept, so I would like if this one did that too. But I honestly have no idea where we're going to go from here, whether it's going to be like realistic or, you know, paranormal, or whether it's going to be like, you know, anything really. I feel like it could go in any direction. I'm quite anticipating where it's going to go. I'm very intrigued, so I will catch up with you when I finish that one off. Hopefully that will also be this evening, but we'll see. Maybe I'll update tomorrow morning. But I'm going to really try and finish off this video soon because I've been having fun with it. However though, I think I'm going to read How to Solve Your Own Murder next, and then I'll be stuck with two that I'm not particularly interested in, that weren't even in the top 10 to like finish this off with. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Hello! So I ended up finishing Middle of the Night by Radhi Sagar and I did enjoy this one. I decided to give it a 3.5, rounded up to a 4 on Goodreads, or maybe more a 3.75. I feel like thinking about it, 3.5 seems quite low. I think I'm gonna give it a 3.75 because I did enjoy this one. I really do like Radhi Sagar's writing. I think he does kind of a good spooky story very well. I think maybe one of the reasons why I wasn't necessarily kind of thinking of giving it, leaning more towards the 4 range, was just because I didn't quite enjoy it as much as like his other books I've read from him. And this is the third one, so it's my least favourite out of those, but I still found it pretty gripping. I think the overall resolution was maybe slightly underwhelming. I didn't think it was super like interesting, shocking, or like impactful in any way. It kind of, I guess, felt like it was building up to a crescendo and then it kind of crescendoed and was like, oh, that's what happened, oh okay cool. Like it wasn't crazy or super interesting or anything like that. Like it was still very enjoyable and I really did enjoy his writing, and yeah, overall I just enjoyed it. I think it's maybe, again, similarly to the last one, I think at the detriment of the fact that I've like almost read 20 mystery thrillers back to back to back to back. Like I haven't even taken a break in this video to like film anything else. Like I have literally been just consuming mystery thrillers for the last like 2.5 weeks maybe, so I guess that could be negatively impacting it. But I mean, I read First Low Winds like 2 books ago and absolutely adored it, so I don't know. But like overall it was good. I think maybe my like mid-tier 3 to 4, like in the 3 point something ratings, are kind of a little bit muddled because I'm starting to be like, well, this one's better than this one, but it's not better than that one. But like, I don't know, like really do take my ratings with a pinch of salt. But like I would recommend this one, but it's not like a favourite of all time, basically. And now I have also made some progress in How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin. I'm about 60% of the way through now and I am really enjoying this one. This one is so much fun. I'm having a great time with it so far. This is definitely kind of like up there, at least so far, as one of the faves from the vlog. This is definitely more kind of like mystery, like classic cozy mystery, rather than like a thriller. We are basically following Annie. Annie? Is her name Annie? Yes. She has gone to visit her great aunt, who's kind of eccentric, and she's known for being like very wealthy, but she had like a fortune read to her as a teenager that basically said that she was going to be murdered. So her whole life she's kind of been trying to prep for it, kind of been suspicious of people, kind of keeping tabs and like files on everyone in her life pretty much. And then Annie goes to her house because the will's been updated and she's now going to be included in the will, but when she gets there her aunt is dead, and so then
when Annie takes on kind of the task, I guess she really wants to kind of investigate. We are getting, I'd say it's probably still like 2/3 Annie's perspective in the current timeline, and we're also getting kind of flashbacks through kind of Frances the great aunt's journal from when she was more of a teenager. One of her friends kind of went missing as a teenager, so there's kind of a little bit of mystery around that as well. So I am really enjoying this. I'm really liking the writing style. I think this is a series, so I definitely think I would continue on with this. This is also a signed edition, which is so much fun. I got this randomly in my Waterstones and she is signed, which is fun. But yeah, really enjoying this so far, and I'm very much excited to kind of sit down and finish it off in one go now. I think it's very easily readable. I'm liking the writing, I'm liking the characters, I'm liking teeny tiny hints of maybe a tiny little bit of romance. I love like a good romance in a thriller, I can't lie. I liked it in, I think it was First Light Wins, had like a slight subcurrent of romance. I love it, I can't lie. And Listen for the Lie had a good subplot of romance. Like, I just love it. When it's done well, I eat it up so much. So yes, really enjoying this one now. Hey guys, so I have now finished up How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin, and I really enjoyed this one. I decided to give it a 4.5, which is a very high rating for me. I think maybe not quite as good as Listen for the Lie, but like they're very similar in terms of my enjoyment. I love this. I thought this was such a fun mystery thriller. Oftentimes I think with mysteries I don't necessarily feel attached to the characters or the actual mystery, but I was really invested in this one. I really enjoyed having the kind of flashbacks to Frances's life as a teenager. I think that really helped me kind of get more involved in the story, and I think I was able to follow along really well. I think there was a good amount of characters here that it didn't feel like our suspect pool was too small, but it also didn't feel like there was like an overwhelming amount of people and I couldn't keep track of it. The overall reveal in this I did not expect at all. Very much surprised me, and I really liked it. And yeah, overall I thought it was absolutely excellent, so I would really recommend this one. I think it's definitely kind of like got your classic kind of mystery traits, and I think it's a really great like proper mystery book. It's not particularly thriller-esque. So yeah, I'd really highly recommend this one. There is another one in this series coming out next year, I think just kind of based in the same town, maybe with some of the great aunt's files, and the main character is kind of trying to solve that murder too. But yeah, I think I'm really intrigued about that one, so I'm very excited to pick that one up when it comes out next year. So yeah, very much positive vibes from me, and I also love the UK cover. I think the UK cover is so much nicer than the other one, I can't lie. But yeah, absolutely love this one. And I have been making some progress through The Next Girl by Emiko Jean. This is the one that is titled The Return of Ellie Black in the US. I don't know why it's got a different title. The US one and the US cover is so much better in my opinion, but I'm about maybe like 60-70% of the way through this one, and I'm enjoying this as well. This kind of reads, it's definitely like a, I guess, classic thriller, but I think it's got a little bit more of a little bit something different. We are basically following a detective, Chelsea, this girl who's been missing for just over 2 years, I believe, Ellie Black. She has just reappeared, so the detective is trying to figure out what happened, figure out who caught her, and it's starting to link to like other cases of girls going missing as well. What I'm really liking about this is obviously we have the detective's perspective and we have Ellie's perspective, both in the present and also in the past when she was held captive, and I think that adds a really interesting element because we get to see a lot of stuff kind of going on there. We get a few other random perspectives like Ellie's dad and her kind of boyfriend and stuff, so it's a little bit random to see them, but I do think it adds to the story. And basically at the moment we're kind of suspicious of everyone. I think even Ellie kind of has started not wanting to cooperate with the police, and there's some things that she might not be telling people and stuff like that, and yeah, it's getting really interesting so far. I'm really enjoying it. I would not have picked this one up if it wasn't for the Goodreads Choice Awards. I didn't even hear about it, and I definitely wouldn't have realised that it had a different name, but I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's interesting, slightly more interesting than just like your classic thriller, I guess. I'm listening to this via audiobook as I try and edit this video, because this video is a long one, so I've got a lot of rough cutting to do, but I'm enjoying the audiobook as well. It's got a bunch of different narrators as well, which I always enjoy. I think definitely helps when you've got multiple perspectives, because then it kind of distinguishes them better, especially via audio. So yeah, enjoying this one so far. It's currently sitting around ish a 4, I think. With your kind of classic thriller, it does depend a little bit on the twist and the ending, kind of how much enjoyment I will get from it, but overall so far I am very much enjoying it, so I'm very pleasantly surprised, and I'll catch up with you when I finish this one, and then we'll have one book left. Hello, so I have now finished up The Next Girl by Emiko Jean, and I really enjoyed this one. I decided to give this a 4 stars. I think it's definitely kind of a little bit more of an interesting, slightly unique, I guess, version of a thriller. It's not really cult
novel vibes, but like kind of that type of thing. I also just noticed on the back that it is blurbed by Jessica Null, and I was saying it reminded me slightly of a couple of bits of Bright Young Women. I don't think, like, because Bright Young Women is my favourite book of all time, so I'm careful to like comp things to that, but there was a couple lines in here that really reminded me of it. It was like, the most dangerous thing in the world isn't like fires or like tsunamis or anything like that, it's unremarkable men. And I was like, she kind of ate with that one, I can't lie. And yeah, I really like this. I think it had some really kind of nice is a bad word, I really enjoyed some of the kind of feminist undertones, or it wasn't really undertones, but like that line, there was some really kind of impactful bits, and I really like this story. I felt very connected to the characters. I thought this was really, really excellent, so I really would recommend picking this one up. I think it's definitely one that I hadn't heard about before the awards, and I thought this was really good, really unique. It read pretty quickly. I think it was like 290 pages or so, and I was really, really pleased with it. This is the author's first thriller, I believe, so I think it's really great for like a debut of the genre, I guess. And yeah, overall just like really positive vibes. I liked the reveal at the end. One part of it as well I think was definitely very bizarre. I would say I would have loved a tiny little bit more of an explanation at the end. There's a scene where we are getting kind of answers about a person's involvement. I'm just trying to be so vague, and we get some of it, but I would have loved to have gone into a little bit more detail because I was really, really intrigued about that, and that was a specific aspect of the twist I thought was so good and I didn't expect at all, and I would love to kind of just delve in more into that part. Besides that, really, really excellent. So yeah, really would recommend this, and this is the return of Ellie Black in the US and maybe other countries, I'm not sure. But I am now halfway through The Night We Lost Him by Laura Dave. Honestly, this is okay. Like, I just don't think it's anything crazy to me personally. I'm halfway through and I'm already kind of surprised about how far I am through, given how little I feel like has kind of currently been revealed, I guess. In this, we are following two kind of like slightly estranged half siblings. We're reading from the point of view of Nora, and her dad owned a load of hotels. He was reasonably rich and he died recently falling off a cliff, but her brother comes to her and is like, I don't think that's the case. And people are being a little bit shady. They're kind of like hiding things. And then also every few chapters we get kind of like a flashback to him in the past, I believe, the father, and this kind of relationship with this woman who I think is connected. If it's connected in the way I think it is, that kind of makes the most sense. But yeah, I'm honestly not sure where we're going. I don't think like I'm hooked enough to like super care about the mystery at this point. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I know enough about characters for this to be like 30% through a thriller, not like 50%. So it's definitely a reasonably quick read, so I'm excited to kind of get through this and finish it off, because this is obviously the last book for the video. And yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued, but so far it's nothing crazy, do you know what I mean? Oh my god, guys, I'm being so for real. I could not care less about this book. I am so happy that I have finished this video. That is the 20th book. I have read all of the nominees for the Goodreads mystery thriller category, and it only took me like 3-ish extra days, so I'm pretty happy with that. But first things first, let's talk about The Night We Lost Him by Laura Dave. This was okay. I think I've settled on a 2.75 rounded up to a 3 for this one. Unfortunately, it does fall into the kind of like latter half of books for this video in terms of my enjoyment. I don't really want to review it right now because I feel like all I've been doing is talking about mystery thriller books, and I'm very much ready to read a romance. But this one was okay. I just didn't really like the way that things kind of unraveled here. I thought it was a little bit stupid kind of, and it just felt a bit like, I don't know, it just didn't really feel like, I can't imagine this being pitched as an idea for a thriller and someone being like, wow, that's crazy, that's so good. And I don't mean that sounds so mean, but just like, it just seems a little bit boring and a little bit generic, and just the reveal of the reason why he died slash who did it slash whatever happened I thought was stupid as well. That didn't really make much sense, and I just felt like Laura Dave wanted to have this big reveal, and then it would only make sense for this one person to have done it for the kind of reveal to make sense, I guess. But like, it just felt stupid and I didn't really enjoy it particularly at all. So it was definitely an easy read. I definitely didn't find it difficult to get through. It was reasonably quick. I think I read like 80% of this in about 2.5 hours, so that really wasn't like a struggle to get through. But I think at this point, like, this is one that I definitely would potentially skip if you were planning on reading all of the top 20. I will now pass over to previous me who was reacting to the Goodreads Choice Awards when the winner was announced, and then I will close out this video. Crazy, I cannot believe it. Okay, so it is now time to react to the winners of the Goodreads Choice Awards. They are out. Obviously, for the chronology of this video, I am filming this a couple days before the last clip you'll have seen. However, I didn't want to get spoiled and I wanted to give my honest reactions. So here we are. If we just do predictions, look, I just don't want Freedom McFadden to win, or I just don't want the teacher to win because I think that was objectively bad. If the boyfriend wins, I don't want it to, but it'd be better than the teacher. As long as the teacher doesn't win, I'll be okay. But my predictions, I think, are, and this is going on vibes, I haven't like checked anything or like ratings. I think First Lie Wins could win because I think the Frida vote might be split, which I would like. I really enjoyed First Lie Wins, as you guys know. So I think First Lie Wins, then The Boyfriend, then Midnight Feast, and then We Solve Murders is my top 4 prediction. But without further ado, I think let's just, it's going to be the first thing we see when it pops up, when I click on discover the top books. Okay, so let's go. What is it? 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 Oh! The God of the Woods. Okay, no, that's fun. Again, I enjoyed this one, so I'm happy about this. I gave it a 4. I thought it was very good. That's shocked me. I didn't even put that. Yeah, I didn't even think of that when I did my top 4. Oh my god. Yay. Okay, that is a fun one to win. I'm pleased about that. I enjoyed it. Again, not quite a 5-star. I thought it was a very good kind of slow literary mystery. I really didn't think this was gonna win. That's so surprising. What was the order of the votes? I really want to know. Oh, okay. First Lie Wins was second, and it was pretty close. So we had God of the Woods, First Lie Wins, The Boyfriend, The Teacher came 4th. God, Jesus. Okay, and then, oh, okay, this is very interesting. Okay, I was expecting the Night to be close to the final round. I'm surprised Richard Osman did kind of so bad, I guess. I'm also surprised about Lucy Foley because I think she's got name recognition. I'm surprised Home is Where the Bodies Are got so many votes. I'm really surprised that All the Colours of the Dark got so many votes. I guess I wouldn't class it as a mystery thriller, so probably anyone who kind of reads historical type books would have, maybe this had been the only one they've read out of the mystery thriller category, so it's not a mystery thriller. I like Listen for the Lie. Okay, this is very interesting. And then looking at this lot, that's kind of expected, I think. But yeah, damn. Okay, I'm very pleased about God of the Woods winning, actually. I thought it was a really good book, so I'm really, really pleased. And First Lie Win was second, but interesting that kind of Freedom McFadden's votes were split. So I guess if it was just one in there, it likely would have potentially got like 100,000 votes and won. That is so interesting. So let's go through the others quickly. Firstly, for fiction, oh, The Wedding People won. I also wasn't expecting this. I thought that Intermezzo or Blue Sisters would win. That's interesting. Okay, so I got that one wrong. Historical fiction, The Women, I was expecting. That's fine, very fun. Romance, I think Funny Story won. Okay, fair enough. I thought that Just for the Summer might win, but obviously Emily Henry won by 40,000 votes. That's a bit of a landslide. Romancy is Sarah J Maas surely. Yeah, that is not surprising. I'm surprised that Apprentice to Them is second. I didn't think that got all too many ratings, but that is interesting. Okay, fun. And then generalized fantasy, I guess. Oh, TJ Klune, fun. Okay, I love TJ Klune, so I'm very excited to see him there. Sci-fi, Ministry of Time. I would have predicted this one. I think this was very popular this year, and I am doing a video reading the winners, so I'm kind of assessing here how happy I am that some of these won, but that is fun. Horror, did Stephen King win? Of course, Stephen King always wins, I feel. You like it darker, like who cares? It's a collection of short stories. God, I have no interest in Stephen King. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy to see that Chuck Tingle did so good. That's so fun. I think, yeah, it's got 9,000 ratings, so it got more votes, I think, maybe based on the name and stuff. And yeah, I'm excited to get to that one eventually. This is interesting. Debating reading horror or debut next year, but we'll see. Debut, What Did Well? How to End a Love Story. Okay, that's cute, that's fun. Okay. And then yeah, not overly surprised. I didn't really have any predictions for that one. Audiobook, it's just gonna be, yeah, the most popular book, which was Emily Henry. Yeah, that's not surprising. Young adult fantasy, oh, Ruthless Vows. Okay, this was, I think, probably reasonably contentious. Actually, maybe not. I thought any of these top 3 could have won. Young adult fiction, is it Holly Jackson, maybe? Oh no, Heartstopper. Yeah, no, I would have thought Heartstopper would have won. Sorry, I forgot that was nominated. And yeah, cute. I love Heartstopper.
I mean, I like Hopstopper. I love the TV show though. And yeah, that's not overly surprising. Non-fiction I'm actually quite interested in to see what will have done well. We have The Anxious Generation. Okay, interesting. That'll be fun. I think a lot of these non-fictions this year were pretty interesting. And I think Disney High is another one where it's got more, yeah, way more votes than ratings. But yeah, this is reasonably interesting. Memoir, I think maybe the Elvis Presley one. Oh no, the third Gilmore Girl again. I forgot she was in here. Yeah, 80,000. I'm gonna have an interesting time reading this considering I never watched Gilmore Girls and I have no idea who this woman is. But that's a problem for January me. And then history and biography. What have we got? The Bookshop. Oh cute. Okay, the history of the American bookstore. I think this again, yeah, has got so many more votes than ratings. Okay, fun. I think overall I'm reasonably happy with this selection of winners. I think Stephen King doesn't deserve it. Sarah J Maas, again, I think they're both ones that are just like insanely popular. So like there was no competition there really. I guess same with Emily Henry, though I did hope that Abby Jimenez would do well. I'm really intrigued about mystery thriller. I'm so pleased about this though. It's so much more fun than having like repetitive winners, I think. So yeah, oh my goodness, 82,000 votes, yeah. How fun. And it won, not by a landslide, but like it wasn't super close like these two were, I guess. So yeah, how fun. That's so interesting to see. I'm really, really pleased about these results actually. So good stuff. Well done everyone who voted. I'm very, very pleased with you. And we're here. We are here at the end. Oh my goodness. I had such a fun time reading all of these books. I would say at least 50% of them were successes for me. Out of the ones I have physically, this is kind of how I'd rank them, from the ones at the top being my favourites and the ones at the bottom not so much. Like anything above kind of here-ish, I would recommend to you guys. I will put on the screen my personal kind of ranking of the 20 versus the Goodreads ranking of the 20 so you guys can see. But yeah, like I think I did such a good job and I'm very, very pleased with this massive stack of book. Oh my god. And yeah, we had some proper like surprise hits out of this. I think First Lie Wins, obviously, that was a very unexpected 5-star. I absolutely love that. Listen for the Lie and How to Solve Your Own Murder I also absolutely adored. And then I'm also really glad that I got to read like The God of the Woods, which maybe I wouldn't have necessarily got around to. The Next Girl / The Return of Ellie Black I didn't even know about before this. And I did have a good time with almost all of these books, even like The Teacher. Do you know what I mean? It's fun to kind of hate read something, I guess. So yeah, I am so happy that you guys have stuck around to this point of the video. If you have, I know it's been a long one, but I really hope you guys did enjoy it as much as I enjoyed filming it. I'm unsure what I'm going to do next year because I did find this a little bit difficult, and I definitely found some of the kind of like 15 to 20th range books were a little bit difficult to get through and I wasn't super interested in. I'm debating whether to do the top 10 horror or the top 10 debut next year, or just stick with the top 10 mystery thriller, but I worry that it's a bit repetitive if I'm like, I'm voting for Richard Osman every time, he's my favourite author. OMG, I had to read this Frida McFadden and I really didn't like it. Like, do we want to see that again for a year? Like, let me know whether you'd rather see me read mystery thriller, horror, debut or another category. Do let me know. But yeah, thank you so much for being here and for sticking with me throughout this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a trophy emoji down below for the Goodreads Choice Awards, and I'm just so grateful that you made it all of this way through this long video. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this, don't forget to give it a like down below, hit subscribe and turn on the bell to join our little club, and make sure you turn on all notifications, then you'll be notified every single time I post a new video. And if you want to watch one of my other videos, there'll be 2 on the screen now to pick from, as also linked up in the cards from earlier. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!